Welcome to another episode of Reseller Evolution. My name's Scott.
And I'm Carl.
And there was an introduction, Carl.
Well, a little more energy this time. That was
a little
good.
bit more energy, yeah. Now I'm all back to normal. It was that apple fritter with the coffee I had.
Oh, man. I want apple fritter now.
It was a sugar rush. Now it's gone.
Yeah.
But, so how's things going, Carl? How's everything this week?
It's been okay. Thanksgiving was great. I spent it with Amy's family, and we had the turkey dinner and all that stuff. They have a beautiful cottage on the Great Rideau, which is a big lake system out here. So it was really nice. It was good to see them too, see family and all that stuff. How's your weekend?
Everything was good. Yeah, the toy soldiers are selling well. The King and Country by far are the better ones. There's other toy soldiers here. Oh God, I listed a ton of them. Now I got to think of what they are. So there's Team Miniatures, which I just listed. So we'll see how they do, but they're probably the best looking ones of all of them. I haven't got to the Britons yet. The Britons could be very good too. But anyways, there's kind of like higher end looking ones, but I don't know if they are, called John Jenkins.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah. And then there's some other ones. There's Black Hawk, which seem to be kind of lower end. Right. And they look rougher. They don't look quite as clean and nicely painted. But anyways, those ones don't sell as good as the King and Country. Luckily, I have another full box of King and Country, at least one box that's full upstairs. So I'll get to that, but I just kind of want to spread them out a little bit, because I just don't want to list all the good ones, and then I'm going to be stuck with just bad ones and nothing to look forward to and stuff,
Yeah.
But the Britons I'm saving kind of for last because I put a bunch in the booth. They're doing very good in the booth, but the higher end Britons, the ones in the nice red boxes and stuff like that, I still have to go through. But overall, the week's been good. I'm getting a lot of stuff ready for the booth. We got our biggest weekend of the year coming up next weekend called Pumpkin Fest. It's a little festival thing in Waterford where the antique booth is. So, I mean, I expect it to be busy. Hopefully it's the busiest day of the year or weekend of the year as usual, but at least it should be busy. Everything's going good, man. The booth rocked it this weekend. It's back up, it really hit hard. Like, I mean, you always like, oh my God, what's going on? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it wasn't like a home run weekend, but it was a good weekend. It was solid. You know what I mean?
The main question is, did you take advantage of the free shipping on Tuesday?
Dude, I didn't even, I don't even know what day it is today. What do you mean? I'd take it.
Oh, man, you just wasted money.
Yeah. All my tool soldiers cost like $7 or $8 to ship. So I'm, free shipping.
Wow. Just money.
Well, here's the problem too. Everything is going to the US and the free shipping, I believe, only counts to Canada.
Yeah. It's only Canada. Yeah.
However, I could have took advantage of it because I did sell an old refrigerating I think it was 1950s refrigeration kind of manual type thing.
Right.
And it did go to Alberta. So that
would have been perfect.
That I could have done it on that one. Yeah.
So. You know what though? I used it and their website took forever. It kept giving me errors. It took me half an hour.
Probably because everybody's using it.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I saved a couple bucks, but we spending frustration and time.
Yeah.
And the system isn't that good. Like I just prefer eBay labels so much.
I love eBay labels.
Because when you use Canada Post, you have to manually transfer the address over, and it's like, ugh.
Yeah. I used eBay labels since I started. But now that they've really kind of took control of the pricing and really, made a lot easier for eBay sellers. Um, I love it now. Like it's
Yeah, I
so
don't
good.
even check chit chats anymore, I must admit.
No, yeah,
Because the differences was not worth me going out there to that one location when I could just go to the end of the block.
yeah,
Basically, I don't know. So hopefully chit chats will survive. Because it's good to have competition because you never know, but
yeah.
won't worry about that.
But no, everything's going well. Can't complain. I'm just looking around the room trying to think of something, but I'm getting stuff done. I guess the only thing that was a bummer was I had a grill from a 66, 67 Dodge Charger, and there was a crack in it, like an actual break in the metal. So it's going to need to be welded. I don't know if it's steel or like cast aluminum. I'm leaning towards cast aluminum, to be honest. So I'm still sure it can be fixed, but instead of selling it for $800, I put 350 on it, and hopefully somebody will want it. But the good thing is I can put parts and repair, and I don't have to worry about any complaints. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, what I get frustrated with, it's like sometimes on eBay they don't give you that option. Do you find that? So
uh,
like I
parts and repair option. What do you
yeah,
mean?
like so this morning this just happened. Is I'm listing a Pixel Chicks game, right?
Mhm.
And it doesn't half of it doesn't light up. So I was like, normally I would do that parts and repair, but the option is only new and used. So
Yeah,
I don't.
I just put used parts and repair. I just type it in.
Yeah, but sometimes there's a category for parts and repair, like for parts.
So
I prefer doing that.
I put it in the title, and I put parts and repair, and I put it in brackets, and then I put it in the description. What's wrong? Parts and repair, because there's like there's an actual split in the metal, and then I just copy and paste what's wrong with it and in the description and re-put it in there saying selling for parts and repair, and then I make a bold,
Yeah, I
like,
do all the same thing. I put in the title, description, and condition
yeah. So
because, and it's the first words too for me
yeah.
for parts and because I don't say repair, but I say for parts, and it's the first couple words because I don't want anyone missing it.
Well,
In
this
this
one's
case, though, it's
definitely
not.
gotta. I definitely got to put repair in there because it needs to be repaired.
Yeah.
So,
Anywho,
which if somebody knows how to weld, can you weld cast aluminum? I'm assuming you can.
well, do you know anyone who used to work at a car factory? Maybe you could ask them.
Dude,
Wow, you're a little slow on the uptake on that one.
those are brand new parts, dude. This
Oh,
is like
okay.
we're if we had a crack in the grill, you just throw it in the bin of trash, or scrap metal. And I've seen whole entire cars go to scrap metal before.
Oh my god, really?
Yeah, and they get really upset about that.
Oh, really? Gee, I wonder. They
Yeah.
must be.
Well, it's because it'll go through most of the line before they find out that there's uh and they find out because there's multiple checks.
Yeah.
And for it to even get past one is very, you know, people freak out about it up top. How could that happen? But when there's safety welds, right, they have to scrap it.
Oh yeah.
You can't go back and fix it, right? So very very seldom happens. Maybe, I don't know, I'm going to guess here, somebody could prove me wrong, but I'm going to say maybe once or twice a year where they have to scrap a full car. But
Oh jeez.
it probably happens once or twice a year where it just in the weld shop where they scrap just the shell, but it's complete shell of the car, but they have to scrap it. But for it to go through the whole system and get into like assembly, like
There's like 3 people sleeping on the job at that point.
somebody's in trouble, like
Yeah.
serious trouble. Yeah. But oh well, shit happens, but at least they got steps in there to prevent that stuff from happening. But anyway, digressing. How was your week, Carl?
It was okay. Like I said, I did pick up a cool chess set just yesterday. It's like the comps online are crazy. I'm not saying to get this. I'm just saying they're selling between like 500 to 1,600 American for this stupid chess set. Franklin Mint. There's a
Yeah,
bolo. If you ever see Franklin Mint out there, it's worth checking. It's not a guarantee, but because it's funny, I used to think Franklin Mint is like those kind of like subscription services that they sell to grandma and grandpa. Like every month
yeah.
we'll send you a little figurine. But some of the Franklin Mints I've sold for really good money. In this case, there's a lot of damage to it. But still, for $15, it's like I'm not going to leave it
And
behind.
if you see a car out there in a blue box that says Franklin Mint, and you flip it over, it could say Sterling.
Yeah, exactly. Franklin Mint, don't dismiss it. Don't dismiss
Don't
it.
dismiss it. Look, check it out for sure. Well, that's
So,
good. I
so
mean, you said there's a little bit of damage, but
yeah,
I
a lot of
watched
damage.
Shed Flips, and Lonnie and Candace had the same kind of thing,
Yeah,
and they were just piecing it out, and I think they were getting like 30, $35, and that's American per piece.
for the same set or
Um,
a set of chess pieces.
well, I don't know if it's the same set, but it was like a higher end chess
Franklin
set.
Mint. Okay.
Like
Yeah, like if you
imagine, how many of those sets are out there, how much they're worth, and somebody drops it and breaks the head off a knight or something. You know what I mean? Like they're gonna want that piece, right, to replace it. So,
it'd be a hell of a lot easier than shipping this chess set. Like it must be over foot by foot. Like so.
dude, I honestly would check into the pieces and see what they're going for. I guarantee you they're going for, if that's the value of the chess set in total, you might get 50 or $60 a piece. Like maybe the pawns, because there's more of them, are lesser, but like a queen or a king could be worth $100.
I'll definitely have to look into it.
Yeah, right. Because there's going to be less of the other pieces than.
I would not want to. Actually, shipping this wouldn't be that bad because all the foam inserts that are inside.
If it's
So
worth $1,000, buddy, I'll ship my car or truck. No, I won't ship the truck, but I'd ship something the size of my truck for $1,000.
it's just usually we don't talk about. Well, we talk about stuff we find, but that was just a funny one. So the other thing that happened this week is yesterday I was on Two Dogs Digs, which was Tuesday night, October 15th. So that was fun. We were talking about risks, and I was talking about your toy soldiers.
Dude, I watched the show, and actually, it was a really fun show.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it.
I think the guy that talks more is Rick, I think, right?
No, Craig.
Craig, okay. That guy's like super passionate about this stuff. Like,
Oh yeah.
He might be as passionate about it as I am.
Oh,
Like, I don't
definitely.
know. Like,
Yeah. Like
right?
Craig's been doing it forever.
Okay.
So he started like he was a big Barbie collector,
Okay.
and so he started with that, and then he got into reselling at trade shows. Oh, not trade shows, at like shows, toy shows, and stuff like that. And yeah, he's been doing it for a long time. Like for me, this is relatively still a recent activity, like 5 or 6 years now. But for him,
you can tell that those guys have experience in it,
yeah.
but just because you have experience doesn't mean you have passion about it. You know what I mean?
Well, he
But
has passion.
these guys like bleed reselling like I do. You know what I mean? So if
Yeah.
you really are into reselling, they're fun to listen to, right? So I actually I was listening and I had you guys on in the background, and it was a good show. So I would recommend it for sure to go on.
Two Dogs Digs YouTube, and they have a very active Facebook group, which I'm not as active in, to be honest, because there's only so much time in a day. But
And they didn't just talk about the home runs. Like they had that atomic lamp thing that they sold for $400 or something.
Yeah,
but they also talked about things that
didn't work out. Yeah,
didn't work out, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
and storage issues and stuff like that. So
yeah,
I mean, we live out in the country, so most of the yards here, like people have, like, I mean, for the most part, I would say 80% of the people have. You could put a shed in the backyard, or there's room. But when you live in the city, which I've lived there for 10 years in Toronto, it can be a lot more difficult, especially if you're in an apartment setting, which probably 90% of the people are, right? A condo or an apartment or something. So there's different issues that when you're out in the country, you kind of overlook that kind of stuff, right? So it's interesting to see how people deal with it and look at it, but constantly evaluating where they stand with it. You know what I mean? So,
well, yeah, it's like anyone. We have struggles with death piles and they talk about that stuff too. And
Yeah, but a death pile that here is aggravating because it's in the way, but a death pile there can actually be waste of like losing money.
oh yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I
because
mean?
those rentals can be expensive, right?
Right. So, pretty neat, pretty good listen. So, and you're great, Carl. You're amazing. You're like an all star. You're just,
Aw,
you know.
thanks, God.
But yeah, no, it was good. It was good. So, if you want to check out Carl, there, go over to Two Dogs Digs. I'll put a link to their channel
Yeah.
just to remind me. I know I
Uh,
forget all the time. I forget all the time
just so people know I'm laughing because he says that every single show, and I don't think he's ever done it.
because
But
I'm always rushing, dude. Like
I know that's fine. It's just that you say you're gonna do it.
I know. Let me write it
You
down.
still say you're gonna do it. It's okay. It's become a joke now. Sorry.
All
But
right.
what you did do this week is you did a video.
I did do a video. I did a video on with the booth, an
Yeah.
update on the booth. Yeah.
I liked watching that and trying to steal your ideas for display units.
Yeah, you're not stealing my ideas. I tell you all the time. You just don't listen to me, dude. I
No,
I
I
tell
don't
you
listen.
during the show
I'm the
here.
worst. I'm the worst. I give advice, but then I don't take advice. I had to learn the
The
hard
only
way.
problem is I'm constantly changing it up, right?
Mm.
So what it looked like when I first started changed a billion times. Like I change it probably once every couple of months. I probably give it a decent change, right? But I'm kind of getting it to where I actually like it now, right? And display cases and different options come to you as you go through life here. But yeah, I think the upstairs large booth and the downstairs booth is coming into a look that I can actually work with and be happy with, right?
Yeah, you're not going to continually want to change it. Maybe tweaks, but and of course inventory, but
Yeah,
the actual physical shelving and storage and stuff like that. You've reached it
yeah.
pretty
And you
well.
know what? You guys mentioned a little bit about I guess they had and have looked into doing an antique booth or some sort of similar type setup. Um, so there's a lot of benefits to it other than just monetary. And one of them is you could consider that cheap storage as well, right? So
Yeah.
it's not good for the owner
No, they won't
if
like
he can
that.
catch on to that. So you
No.
want to make sure you're paying attention to your booth and not
No.
just a storage place.
Well, let me put it this way. Where my flea market booth is, there's a guy who has a lighter that my brother-in-law wants to buy. And my brother-in-law said, "Oh, I want that." And the guy said, "I can't get to it because his 10 by 10 is
Yeah.
so packed you can't get into it anymore." So it has turned into a de facto.
Yeah, that's not what I'm
No.
talking about though.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I'm talking about keeping it up as a nice place for people to come and shop because you want to make money if you're spending money there. You want to still have the ability to turn it into cash. But instead of keeping everything into a storage unit, you can have it out there where you can make money off it. And at the same time, if you want to go grab some inventory, you can bring it out of there and put it onto eBay and vice versa. You know what I mean?
Yeah, one of my friends who has one of the booths there, that's what he does. He has 5-day handling or something like that. So and it's only Sunday, so he knows if something's sold or not. So he puts the stuff on eBay, and if it sells, then he just takes it at his booth the next time he's on there on Sunday. And he has long enough handling that if it sells on a Monday, he's still within his timeline to ship it out on the following week Monday. So
Well, he wouldn't. It wouldn't. Oh, I see what you're saying. If it sells on eBay in a Monday, see that wouldn't work with me because we're open and I'm not there.
no, yeah, you're doing different things.
Yeah, so that would work for that situation, which is interesting, right?
Yeah, I don't want to do that because I don't want to double list it.
Yeah,
Because I know what's going to happen is I'm going to sell it in the booth and I'm going to forget all about it,
yeah.
and then I'm going to have to cancel a sale like I had to do this last week.
And 5-day handling is
That's
like
long.
okay. Listen, this is going to bring me into my topic of the day, which
Oh, we have
I'm
a
gonna
topic?
like.
You didn't tell me this.
Well, topic or rant of the day.
Oh, rant. Okay, rants I get.
So, if anybody's out there This is a comment I'd love to hear in this week's comments is why give us reasons why you block buyers. So tell me if this is a good enough reason, Carl. This guy gave me a positive feedback. Okay. So at the end of the day, it's positive. But he bought a book on a Sunday. He bought it on October 6th. It was a like a Warhammer kind of catalog, right?
Yeah.
So he bought it, which is a Sunday. He received it on Tuesday of the next week, which was the 15th. In between there was a Saturday, Sunday, and a holiday Monday. He received it the Tuesday.
Is
So
he
I
in
would
the
have
United
shipped it
States or Canada?
I'm to the States. I don't think I sold anything to Canada
Okay,
as
good.
far as this book, but I'm going to say it's the U.S. I
Okay,
could go
so
back.
Monday doesn't count then because they don't have a holiday Monday.
They did have a holiday.
On Monday?
Yeah, they had a.
Oh,
According to Lonnie and Candace, they had a Monday. They had a holiday, which was I forget what day it was, but there was a holiday there.
okay.
So anyway, I don't know what day it was. Anyway, but they had. I'm pretty sure they had a holiday as well.
I trust you.
And maybe you could check it while you're there, right? Check to see if they had a holiday. Because maybe it was last week they had the holiday, which would have been the same thing. It would have still fell into that timeline for them.
Sure.
But, well, what do you mean, sure? You
What
check it out.
do you want me to say? You're the one telling me this. I disagree with
Okay.
you.
So, anyway, so he says it took a while for shipping, but the product was great. 5-star, like a positive review.
Perfect.
So I blocked him.
No, I wouldn't block him.
I don't know why you're mentioning took long shipping.
No.
You bought it on a Sunday.
Yeah.
You received it on a Tuesday, and in between there was a Saturday, Sunday, and holiday Monday. So I don't know where the problem is with the shipping time.
Mm-hmm.
But thank you for the positive review.
No.
And I'm glad you like your product.
I could not. We're on opposites on this one.
And I blocked them.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Dude.
What?
Shipping took a while? Shipping didn't take
whatever. No one reads that stuff. You know that, right? Like,
well, now they're gonna read it.
They don't like when you buy off of someone, do you read the positive or do you read the negatives?
I don't buy off anyone.
Well, that's even worse then.
Well, I don't really buy anything. The only thing I buy is like from Staples or something brand new. I'll go to Amazon.
For the rest of us who buy things occasionally.
Like what would I need? I don't honestly I don't buy anything. I really don't. I don't buy anything.
You bought an apple fritter this morning. I'm pretty jealous about that.
What's that?
You bought an apple fritter this morning. I'm pretty jealous about that.
Well, okay, but I'm not buying an apple fritter from somebody on eBay. I'll tell you that.
That's so gross.
Come in a cereal box, all wrapped up in
diaper box.
You know exactly. But
anyway,
no, I don't know.
I wouldn't block for that. Like I've had negative things and positive reviews, and I just like whatever. Like in that case, I wouldn't even open up. I wouldn't even contact them. I just wouldn't bother. It's like whatever. Water under the bridge. They gave me a positive feedback. It increases my percentage. They're happy with the thing, and just I would have not wasted my time on that. Personally, that's my opinion.
I blocked 2 other guys this week too.
Oh wow, jeez.
Yeah. So some guy from Italy wanted a couple of the soldiers, and he asked me if I would ship to Italy. I said no. And then I must have sent him, like as a watcher, I can't see who the watchers are. So I must have sent him as a watcher a discount. And then he bought it. And I'm like, it's the same guy.
How able to buy it?
Well, I called eBay. I called eBay and I said, I don't know what's going on here. But the last time I blocked someone for buying something from Germany, they give me a neutral. And I said, I want to avoid that because I asked eBay to take it off and they never did. They said they would look into it. And she said, he's not supposed to be able to buy from you. Maybe he has an address in the system in the US or something, but the shipping address was totally to Italy, to Rome. And she goes,
that's weird.
Yeah, that's what she said. That's what the eBay rep said. And she goes, go ahead and she goes, cancel it, put shipping address. She goes, I'll put it in the system here, but she goes, if you get a negative or a neutral, give us a call back. And she goes, because this shouldn't have happened. So, anyways, I ended up blocking him, and I haven't got. And then he bought it, but used a third party.
Well, that you can't stop.
And then
Well,
that's fine. I don't have a problem with that.
yeah.
Right, that's fine. But he used a third party thing. So, anyways, it's still going to the same guy, but through a different. It's going to a U.S. address. And then remember last week we talked about those mad balls, and the guy wanted for
Oh
400
yeah.
bucks.
Yeah.
So I blocked him too.
Oh
So,
no.
so he wanted 400, which came to what, 550.
So was it American? So was a U.S. offer?
Yes, it
That
was
was
a
what we
U.S.
were talking
offer.
about.
It was a
Yeah.
U.S. offer for sure.
Okay.
So then I put in there, okay, so we do 275 a piece. I I revised the listing to accept offers. You put 275 Canadian. That'll get to your 550 or 400. I think it come to 401. That'll get to your offer in US dollars, but it'll be transferred to Canadian. And I'm good with that. So he goes, yeah, if you can do all that, he goes, I'll pay immediately. I'll buy both and pay immediately. So then I message, okay, all that is done. Everything's been changed. Go ahead and do that. He goes, will you take 250 each? Well, now he's knocked me down, and then he knocked
Oh,
me
screw
down
that.
another 25 on each ball.
No.
So I did not reply. I just
Block.
blocked him, and I
Yeah.
revised it back to does not accept offers. Right.
Yeah.
So now he
I
can't
agree.
put the offer in, and I blocked him, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to sell it.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. That's scummy.
Yeah. So
We
now
had an agreement.
he just keeps knocking.
Yeah, no. And you never know with those guys too. It's like when he gets it, it's like, oh, you didn't disclose that there's a little pinprick out of the side.
Yeah.
Oh, another $50. Like, I'm not saying that's gonna happen. I'm just saying I'm not willing to risk it. The bullshit.
Yeah.
Because
And
like,
I'm not.
it's not
And
even the money thing. It's the BS part of it.
I paid $15 each. I'm not into it where I'm desperate to get that money back. I'm not. I don't
It's
need to
going back to
sell.
your word.
He's the one that came to me for a discount. I didn't go to
Yeah.
him.
No.
You know what I mean? So
I agree with that block.
What's that?
I agree with that block.
Yeah, you agree with all my blocks. Come on, you do, honestly. Come on.
No.
If somebody gave you that negative, they give you a positive, but they put that little dig in there.
I had that happen. I did not block them.
I'm blocking them.
I got some amazing feedback the last few weeks, so it was pretty cool.
Well, listen. I don't want to overshadow the positive with the negative. I've been getting exactly like you said. You're probably getting a lot of followers. If you go into my feedback, you can see these toy soldiers are getting lots of positives, and I am getting a lot of followers. So, because of it. So you were right on that end as well. So, all right. So what were you saying, Carl? I just don't want to overshadow everything with negativity, but I'm just saying I've been blocking buyers. I can't help it. Like
I know. I just want to bring some positivity. I just really like this one comment I got for a train set. Remember that train set I sent, and I was worried that it was loose. But I sent off two big trains. It must be fine because I got positive feedback for it. It's nice. Like, this was my first eBay purchase, and I was hesitant to purchase, but I am happy I did. Thank you. It's like, aw, it's nice getting those feedbacks, right? Seller was very accommodating, friendly, clock ride and extensive packaging, making sure it was safe during the journey. It works great, and I love it. See, isn't like just to bring the positivity back, like that's the vast majority of it, isn't it?
Dude, I think that guy's smiling too much. I would block him for just being too happy.
He or she didn't write A plus 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 seller. Therefore, block.
You sound a little suspect with all this positivity. I don't trust you. Blocked.
Okay, so now we just some positive. Let's go back into the negative. So this weekend I sent on Sunday was the long weekend here in Canada, and Sunday I sent Scott a picture of all the traffic that was at the flea market. Do you remember that?
Well, I saw one lonely soul standing at the far end.
And I was trying to wait for that guy to get out of shot because that was the most day. It's like one long alley of nothingness. So this weekend, I sold a grand total of $16 of
What?
stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
Now it was so dead. It was the deadest I've ever seen it, and it was interesting because we're debating: is the long weekend's going to be good or bad for the flea market?
Wow.
The answer was really bad. Now I had to leave at 1:30 because we had a family thing, so
Oh,
I was
dude.
out 2.5 hours, but still there was no one there. There was no one there.
Really, eh?
It's funny, eh? I,
So you leaving early, um, kind of that is our prime time. Like, what time do you guys open till?
oh, that's definitely not our prime time. We're open from 8 a.m. till 4 p.m.
Yeah, okay.
But in reality, a lot of people don't show up till 8:30 or 9, and a
Okay.
lot of people leave at 3:30 or 3:15 or something like that. They don't like it because they don't want people driving to the market and finding all the booths empty. But the fact is,
No, I'm
people,
talking about buyers. Like, when's that prime time?
I would say prime time is around noon. Actually,
Yeah,
probably
that's what I'm
probably
saying.
like
1 o'clock, you're
probably
leaving.
probably 10 to 2 is probably the busiest times, and it really dies at 2 because everyone who goes regularly probably knows that half the people start leaving it. The booth owners start leaving. So, but yeah,
Yeah,
usually 10 to 2, and most of it around like 11 to 1. That's probably the busiest time.
yeah. I would say our busiest time is between noon and 3.
Yeah, yeah, that sort of thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
What time is
but
your?
we don't open till 10,
Yeah,
and we close at 4. But on weekends we close at 5. So
right.
I would even expand the weekend Saturday Sundays instead of 3. I would say it goes to 4. Right.
Hmm.
So it's from noon to 4. But if I get a sale before noon or after 4, like I'm like, wow, that's cool. Like I'm kind of, I'm not shocked. I'm not falling off my chair, but I'm like, oh, that's good. You know what I mean? Because you usually don't expect it too much, right? So,
Yeah. So
but yeah, I'm surprised. I'm surprised. Thanks. Like holiday weekends are usually big for us, and um, we picked up this weekend, so I'm kind of surprised. I figured you would have had a better weekend, but
it was dead. It wasn't me for sure. It was completely dead. But I did set up a bookcase. That was exciting.
oh, okay,
Put all my DVD. And the things I sold was 3 Smurfs for five
okay.
bucks a piece. And then I bought a Smurf off another guy for $3, which is kind of funny. He says, "You're getting 5. I'm only asking 3." And I said, "Oh, I'll buy your Smurf." I just
Then you
added it
throw
to
it
my
for mine.
little collection.
Well, then you can't really.
The sad thing is, I said, "Oh," at the end of the day, he's like, "Oh, how?" Because there was another booth owner across from me, right? I said, "Oh, how's your day?" He said, "I sold $3 worth of stuff." I said, "Was that the Smurf I bought?" He went, "Yeah."
Wow, just dig
Yeah,
it in, eh, Carl?
I know, eh? Twist the
Twist
knife a
that
little
knife
bit.
a little harder.
I said, "Oh, I should have offered one." Yeah.
um, so I should have offered $2. Is that right?
I should have given him less. He was desperate. Yeah. It was fun though. Like
Well, then you can't.
honestly, I'm not getting bored yet. That's the major thing, and you know,
And
but I
and
want to
and
expand badly.
and I hope you, in all fairness to our little competition thing here, put those stiff bears back in for another weekend. Because if you're leaving at one
Oh, I didn't
o'clock,
bring them in. Yeah, I didn't bring them in. I had enough
oh,
shit
okay.
to bring in. So
Well, you would have made money then. You would have sold them.
yeah.
No, bring. Are you putting them online, or are you going to take them in?
So
Let's be
I was
honest.
hoping they were worth like 50 to 100. They're worth more like 25 to 50.
Oh, okay.
So the 50 ones, well, one I actually put best offer on because it looked like it. I couldn't quite ID it very well. It's like a little cat. It's so cute, but I I think it's an older one, but I wasn't quite sure. And a giraffe I put online, and then the other ones I'm just asking $25 each with the tags, and that's about a little under what they're worth. And those are going to take the boost. So there's like 4 of those, I think. So, and we'll see how that goes. You know, do you? Oh, I have a separate question. Do you alphabet to lie? Do you put your records in alphabetical order?
Hell no.
What about
Just,
genre?
huh?
What about genre?
No.
No, okay,
Record guys don't care about that shit.
no.
No, it's too much. All they just want to flip through it.
That's what I figured.
Yeah, they're just gonna flip through it. And you know what? Every time I go in there, my records are a mess. So
Yeah,
if I
yeah.
took my time to put them in alphabetical order, they're not going to stay that way. You know, uh, I always have to straighten up or lean them back, or I'm always, every time I'm in there, I can count on the records from being something that needs to be, you know, adjusted. So there's no way I'm going to do that.
It's yeah, okay. Because someone asked once, is it alphabetical order? One, hell no.
Yeah,
But I figured the same thing you just said is like people are just happy to like as long as they're good stuff. Like the records I brought in aren't mine; they're someone else's. And so, but they're good records. Like,
yeah.
well, I think they're good. I don't know music, but it's things like Led Zeppelin and like, uh,
Oh, they suck, dude. I'll give you $1 for it though, just out of mercy.
oh really? Oh,
Yeah,
okay, thanks, man. Anyways, it's all good stuff, right? So it's like, I had one other booth owner come by and says, okay, well, these are good records. He says I can't buy any because I'm looking to buy to flip, but there's nothing. It's all priced right. But he said these are good records. So I had a lot of people look, but no one actually bought. But I talked to the guy who owns them. And he says, "Oh, don't worry about it." He says a lot of record buyers will kind of like get an idea of what you have, and they might come back later and pick stuff up once they've checked their own collections and stuff like that. So, and like I
yeah,
said, I'm not worried
and
about it. It
yeah,
just takes up
and
a lot of room because you can't put anything above records. Do you know what I mean? Like I can't put records on a shelf because you can't really see them when they have to kind of like have nothing above them so you can flip through them easily. So
well,
it actually takes up
you
the
can
room.
hang pictures and stuff,
Oh, yes, you're right. I could do that.
right? And you could hang a shelf and stuff above them, but just not have them tight against the wall. They'd be at the front of the table, and you can put stuff high in behind them. Like sometimes I'll put. I mean, I do it differently now because I have an actual. I have an actual stand set for the records. But before, if I was to put them in a milk crate and put them on a table, you could put higher standing stuff behind them, like a vase, like a large vase, or you know, I don't know. I'm just trying to think, but like a big statue or something can sit behind them where people can still see that. If you push them tight against the wall above it, could be. And what I do is put you could put like a very thin shelf above them and put DVDs of rock concerts like ACDC
Oh,
and
smart.
Eagles. Um, you could put a poster, um, like you could put a magnet board that you could buy at Staples,
Yeah.
right? And then you could magnet your posters above them.
I saw that on your video this week, and it's like, oh, that's a really smart idea because I have a couple of posters.
Yeah,
It's like, how do I display them? And then I saw you had that magnet board. It's like, oh, that's a really good idea. Yeah.
yeah. And then, so certain things like that you could do. Um, yeah. So anyway, so you can
Anyway,
put stuff above it, but yeah, you're right. You can't put them under a shelf because they need to be able to flip through them and see you at the back, right? So
yeah, exactly.
and they need to be at a certain height. They can't be like where they're crouching
Yeah.
down because they're going to
No.
flip through it for a long time,
Yeah.
and they can't be too high where they can't read it. It has to kind of be right at
I
that
know, right?
waist chest level.
Yeah.
So yeah,
The other thing I was checking out from your video though was like what you have on the very bottom shelves because I find nothing is ever sold off my bottom of my shelves, and it's like I kind of tempted not even to put anything there because it's like it's gonna get kicked and stuff like that. So I noticed you had the same. I noticed you put, and other people do this too. Is like it surprises me. Is paintings. People seem to be put paintings on the bottom, like leaned against shelves and or the
yeah,
floor, and that
yeah.
freaks
Because
me out. Like, isn't someone going to kick it? But everyone seems to do that. So maybe I'm just being paranoid.
yeah, I think people are pretty cautious. I put it there because they're easy to see, and you're gonna look down. You're gonna see it when you're walking from a distance, but towards it, it's probably the first thing that you're gonna see. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll raise that shelf because usually they have little notches and you can raise the shelf.
Yeah,
So I might even take out that bot like when I say bottom shelf, I'm not talking about the one that sits on the floor. I'm talking about the next one up, so that I have a big space there, and I'll set tall objects like a vase, um, things that are kind of tall. I'll sit in the bottom.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? You could put pictures for sure, um, but you can. They just if you put the shelf too low, they can't really when they're standing to it. They can't really see under it. You have to,
that's right.
yeah, you have to
It's like
open
a
up that
wasted
bottom.
space. It's like a wasted space at the very bottom. Maybe
Yeah,
I'm
so
using
you
a
just open it
storage
up
or
and you
something.
just put something larger there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, or maybe cheap board games I'll put on the very bottom or something. I haven't figured out what to do with that space at the bottom of the shelving units, because it's like I said, it's kind of no one really looks there. But maybe board games actually would be good because you just need to see the titles and that's good enough. Like cheap ones, like the $5 ones, I don't care
Are you
about.
talking about the plastic shelves?
Yeah, I'm talking about the plastic shelves, but really any shelving unit has that bottom kind of wasted space.
Well, if they're like an IKEA thing or something where you can take that shelf out, right? Because they're just sitting on little pegs.
Well, then I put
Uh,
like Coleman lanterns at the bottom or something, and
Coleman lanterns are perfect. Yeah,
yeah,
because they're very bright colors. They stand out and they're taller. So Coleman lanterns is perfect for the bottom. For sure. Without a
anyway,
question.
yeah. So that's enough booth talk. The only other thing is I want to expand. I'm gonna have to like take out the people either side of me, either the
Is
cat
that is that
lady.
is that is that so you can make $32 a week?
Yeah, double my money, man. You twist the knife, eh? Hey, I was wrong about the weekend before. I made $129. So
Oh,
even now, it's the $75 a weekend, right? Or whatever the hell
score.
that is. I bought some stuff there too, some magazines, but I don't think I scored on those. So, but hey,
I'm
whatever.
giving you a hard time,
I
Carl. I
know.
think you're.
I
I
don't
think
take it
you're.
seriously.
I think you're going to do well. I
Yeah.
think you're just kind of coming into this lull of a period. I'm really surprised this weekend wasn't good for you. I
Oh, it
really
was
am.
so dead. It was honestly like that picture was not an exaggeration. Like there were time periods where it's like we could have like done bowling down the aisles, no problem.
But there are going to be slow periods and good ones. We had it like honestly this weekend. I did poorly compared to how the store did. Like the store staff said was like
Oh, I
great.
see
Like
what you mean. Yeah,
like
yeah.
I texted her and it took hours for her to get back because she said it was so busy.
Awesome.
So, um, but if you looked at my videos closely, I have a lot of empty space. I have a
I
lot of
noticed that.
space that needs to be stocked. So
Actually, I did notice that, and I was thinking about commenting it or not, but you seem to have a lot of empty space for
so if
sure.
you listen to what I'm saying during
What?
the going through, I actually say that it's because we purged a lot, so now I have a
Yeah.
lot to bring in. So, and I didn't show my third booth, which is next upstairs next to my other one, because it's kind of a mess. It's kind of like when we were purging, I took some of the stuff and put it in that booth, so it's kind of messy. So I didn't want to. I was a
Mm.
little embarrassed to show it, but um, I mean the two main booths, my booths that I'll probably be keeping going forward, and I haven't confirmed I'm going to give up the smaller one, but it's something that I'm playing around with, and like I said last week, that I might be doing the shows instead for that small. But anyways, the two bigger ones are the main two.
You should just rent out the space to Adam.
He doesn't want the space though. He just wants a little piece of the wall
He
where
just
he can
wants
put
the wall. He's
one
happy with
picture
the wall.
one picture a month, or one. Sorry, one picture at a time. If he sells the picture in the first week, he still has 3 weeks left to put another one there. So I shouldn't say a month, but one picture at a time. Yeah. So anyway, kind of digressing into a lot of topics today, but
Oh no.
yeah, that's not like us. Eh? But yeah. So anybody out there, let me know next week. Any weird blocking of buyers out there, and do you think I'm wrong? Let me know. Was I wrong to block that guy, even though he gave me a good feedback? But Carl thinks I was wrong.
Yes.
So anything else, Carl, before we get into comments?
No, I think we can get in the comments. Like I said, I want to expand, but it's not so easy just to do that. You have to take out your competition. So it's either the cat lady has to go, or the people who never come to their booth have to go. So,
Well, the
or
people
maybe
that
if
don't come to their booth, maybe
I'll
if
start
they're
putting stuff in there.
yeah, just start putting yours. Hey, dude, that happens all the time. People walk around and they will put other people's stuff into my booth and vice versa.
Oh, I
And
hated that.
yeah, it's not like they're doing it intentionally, but they're
No,
definitely doing it intentionally. So it's not that they have, oh, I'm going to grab this and put it in someone else's booth. It's more like I'm going to grab this and then they might find it cheaper somewhere else or change their mind
and they don't put it back.
and they don't put it back. Right. So
Yeah.
that's what's happening. And yeah, so you could just put your stuff in their booth and not have to pay rent for that extra.
Hey, even better.
Of course, if they're not there,
They're not. They're
nobody's
never there. Yeah.
no nobody's going to be able to pay anyone for it. So, but
Yep.
yeah,
That's it.
I don't know what else to say. I think everything is. I probably gonna. I know I listened to the show and I had some things to say about the show last week. Some comments I wanted to make, but I can't remember them at this time. So, um,
Maybe
I'm gonna.
when we do the comments, it'll refresh your mind here.
Yeah, probably not. I don't have a good memory anymore. But all right, so well, we got another little rush on subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah, we're up 5%.
5%. I guess we are, aren't we? Yeah. Uh, we lost one subscriber on Spotify.
That's hilarious. Woo!
They said Carl is just he's too serious. He's like
Uh-huh.
he.
Oh well,
I don't know. They
maybe they'll come back.
nobody said nothing. I tried to figure make something up, but we did get a comment on Spotify
Okay,
from Tina Mack.
excellent.
I guess you can't see it, right?
No, I can't see the comments,
All right.
or not that I know of. Anyways,
So this is our Spotify commenter, Tina Mack. You're in the money, Carl. Toy soldiers. I'm curious to hear how the bear, the bear, the bears do.
the
She's got
stifle,
two
I think.
exclamation marks, and I almost said bear dolls, but no, the bears do. So let me read that. You're in the money, Carl. Toy soldiers. I'm curious to hear how the bears do. And when I say toy soldiers, she subliminally put those in with the. I can show you, but
I believe.
she added those in there. Nice. I like it.
Nice, Tina. Thank you.
So
Uh,
she's she's putting that in there. So I like it. I like it.
you know who else did that? I was watching Sunday Night Show, and Randy says, "Hey, Carl, toy soldiers." At some point, it's like, you bastard. I was like doing something. It's like it grabbed my attention. It's like, oh, trolling me from afar. That was
Well,
pretty good. Thank you, Tina.
well, the good thing is though,
Uh-huh.
I'm in the profits now on that
Oh,
buy.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
So, um, yeah, that's about it. Do you want to go on to the next comment there, Carl?
Sure.
Toy soldier.
Uh, toy soldiers. So, what's Scott's favorite song from Martica? I have no idea what Martica is. Do you?
No, but I'm gonna look it up. Toy soldiers.
Answer: Toy Soldiers. Yes. Sorry, doing it wrong. I don't know the reference. We're not with it.
I wish I would have read that ahead of time because I would have looked it up so I know. All right. So Julie, Red Trunk Relics. Hi guys, thank you for the shout out. I subbed on Spotify too. Nice. I enjoy listening while I list and work in my inventory spreadsheet for the booth in eBay and Etsy. So inventory spreadsheet. Ugh. I don't know, inventory spreadsheet and listening to us. That just sounds like a disaster. How do you stay awake?
I'm like 5 months or 6 months behind on my spreadsheet. I must admit. I know I don't do an inventory spreadsheet like I know some people do, but I don't think it would help me. So I don't do it.
Well, mine's pretty much all done just by listing it. So, like, we have that in our system. So,
True.
right.
I
So,
guess yeah.
Julie, just to let you know, I think ours is specifically designed just for the store, but
Well, I have a record
because
of sales, but I don't have a record of like how much I paid for the item.
yeah, but you would have saw what we do in our store, and we can see
Uh-huh.
all the sales instantaneously. As soon as they go into the cash register, they
Yeah.
go into our account. Like, not the money, but I mean the documentation of the sale
Yeah.
goes on into our I guess you would call it store kind of inventory account.
Yeah.
And we can also put our inventory in there, and they will print a price tag off for us.
Do you ever have so when you bring in an item, right?
Yeah.
Does it gets an inventory item? Like you print off a SKU for it?
No.
Oh, how does it get into your booth?
Uh, well, they might have they would have to have a SKU for it. I
Okay, well,
just,
yeah. Okay, when I mean you, I don't. I mean,
yeah, I guess they would have a SKU for it for sure, but it's labeled based on what I type in. So I'll put like picture of ducks. I don't know, right? Wooden duck, and then the price, and then that gets into the system.
and then
Is
it
what
adds
it.
the SKU at that point, or an
So
inventory number, or
it
whatever
has
you
a
want to say.
so the price tag has a barcode
Barcode, sure. Yeah.
and SKU, but I don't record the SKU myself. You know, I guess I really couldn't unless I ended up having two my own records plus the one from the store
Well, yeah. Well, my point is
because
that
they're
you
going to
could.
assign a SKU that I is random. Like,
So here's my point.
all right,
Can you look on in your on their system? Can you look at all your inventory that's currently
yes,
listed in your stuff?
yes,
So you can tell how much.
only if I put it in the system. If I go and put like if I write $10 on a paper tag, put it in my booth and not put it in the system, it does not go in the system. It goes into the system on the time of the sale, but it does
Oh,
not
I
go
see.
in before.
Okay, so you can put stuff in your booth without pricing it.
Well, not
Well,
price it,
pricing it, sorry, on their system. You can just put
and,
a paper tag on it.
and then it goes into the system on the sale. They'll assign a SKU. Well, I'm assuming it goes into the system as soon as it's sold. So it goes under my code, which I have. Every vendor has a code.
Okay, so here's my question: why I'm asking all this?
Okay.
Um, do you see inventory in there that doesn't exist anymore in your booth?
That doesn't exist in their system.
No, that exists in their system, but doesn't exist in your booth.
Um,
Uh,
it can
you can see what
happen.
you can see what got stolen as long as it was individually entered into the system before the sale.
Well, that means I have to go through and do a physical inventory count
Yeah,
and
you don't want to.
documentation,
Yeah,
and I
no,
don't
no,
do that,
no, no.
right?
I was just curious because then it would be interesting to see. Is like, it's like I don't know, whatever this lamp. And it's like, wait a second, I haven't seen that lamp actually be sold. It'd be interesting to see how much is walking out. But it sounds like that wouldn't really work anyways because like if you bring in like 50 records, maybe that's a bad example, but you do just have it or what? No, DVDs are probably a better example. Like you're not going to put a little SKU on every common DVD, right?
They would, yeah,
Oh, they do. Okay, well, never mind
yeah,
then.
they'd have to, right? Like in their system, because what I would do is I would put. So what I do is I'll put CD quantity 100. They will print me off 100 tags.
All with the same SKU. Okay, that makes sense.
I'm assuming with different SKUs because it has to be a different SKU because it's got a different barcode.
Oh, right. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, let's.
No, that's fine because people probably find this a little bit interesting
Oh,
because
really? Because I was thinking we're losing listeners.
no, not at all. Because if you are in an antique store, um, I think we're the only one with this system, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think the system is amazing.
Yeah. So we're probably the only people with this system as far as antique stores,
Yeah.
but it just makes it quicker for them to be able to scan it and
Oh
put
yeah.
it through. There's
Yeah.
less mistakes this way.
Oh yeah. No
Um,
calling out the person saying what's the price on this, what's the price on that?
and
Because like
I don't
yeah,
have to fill out 100 CD $4, CD $4, CD
yeah,
$4. I
yeah,
just
yeah.
type it in the system and
Quantity. Yeah.
it spits out like whatever I want. And we go there and they print it off, and it takes seconds to print it off.
Nice.
Right. So, and it's all on a sticker, like a price tag with a adhesive on the back that you stick to it, or you can stick to a paper tag with a string and tie it to the
Oh
item.
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. Sorry about everyone who goes just fell asleep.
Well, I don't know. I think it's a neat way to document what's going on. And you can tell if you were to put everything in the system, it can tell you how much retail inventory is in your system.
That's what I was kind of curious about.
So they can tell. Well, then you should have asked that.
Well, I was getting there very slowly. Well, I wanted to know how much if you could determine if there was theft. But I was
Well, the
also
only way you
curious.
can determine theft is to know that the item's gone, and that's to do a physical inventory. I don't do that, but there are
No,
signs like you might find the price tag kind of ripped off and thrown in the corner or something like that. Theft is not a big deal to me. It's
no,
not an issue.
no.
It had been at one point, but we think we found out who it is, and they've been trespassed, and it's kind of stopped. So I think Anna ended up finding out who it was and trespassed them. Now, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but it happens less than it used to by far. Um, so it's not really a concern to me, and I don't know where else I'm going to go with this, but it can tell you how much value is in your store as far as
That
your listed value.
right.
Like I
Okay.
was surprised. Like,
Right.
if somebody asked me how much value I had in the store as retail value, I'd probably say 10 to 15,000. But I would say I probably had about 80% in the system, and it came out to over 40 grand.
Okay.
And that was only 80% of what I had listed or what I
So
had in the store.
so we're talking about something I think that a lot of people don't talk about, which actually to me is one of the most important things you can have is how much inventory do you have listed on eBay or in this case the booth because you can't sell what you don't have. And I find a lot of people say, well, that number, like, let's talk about eBay, right? Because most people can relate to the eBay thing. But it's the same
Okay.
thing as the booth, right?
Yeah.
I keep track every month of like, what is the total value of all the stuff in the store. Now, that being said, people say, well, that's not real because you're going to take less than that. But I say it doesn't matter. It's relative to what your value of your store was in the past. And I find people aren't really talk about that too much. And like for me, the value of my store has gone down by at least half in the last year or two, or maybe 2 or 3 years now. And that's what my sales are lower is because they don't have as much good stuff up, or not just valuable stuff up. People don't seem to track that. They care so much more about the number of listings you have than they do about the rest of the stuff. And I think the other number is actually more important.
See, I'm not going to disagree with you, Carl, but I
But
honestly feel a lot of that stuff can be out of my control. I can only buy what I can find. So I understand where you document that, but some years I'm going to have better scores. Like next year's going to look
well, you
less
have a blip. You're gonna have a blip with the toy soldiers,
right, right.
right? But
So, but what I'm saying is that it's what you have to maintain, and this is me. This doesn't necessarily mean I'm right. This is just I look at it differently.
right,
I go out there, I'm pounding the pavement all the time because if I'm having less sales, that's probably because I'm not listing enough or I'm not buying.
but that's my point,
I'm not out there hustling enough. So I enjoy the hustle,
right?
and as long as I can maintain, you know, I know I wanted to do 20 items a day. I think that's a little bit unrealistic with life going on. I think I could do that probably if I wanted to now, between
Well,
now and
yeah.
probably end of February. But once summer hits, that isn't realistic anymore.
But
So
but but going back to the value of your store, if you have $10,000 of inventory in there, or 20,000 or 40,000, right? I say that's more important than even the buying of the stuff, right?
Well,
Obviously, to sell something, it has to be in your store.
I'm saying for you, that's probably right. But for me,
Uh huh.
I'm gonna go back to things change over time. So you could have, I don't know, 40 Royal Daltons at $1,000 a piece, but they're now you're only going to get $100 a piece for them. Is your store really worth, I don't know,
It doesn't
four
matter what the value of the store is, because
40,000?
you're comparing it to the same relative value in the past.
But I think you this is the part where I think people are gonna eyes are gonna glaze over and they're gonna like just don't drive into the telephone pole. And trust me, this is gonna stop soon. It's
Okay,
like
fine,
nails on a
fine.
chalkboard. But I disagree.
Okay,
I don't disagree in the fact that I think you're doing it incorrectly. I just think for myself, that isn't as relevant. What I can control is buying stuff at a good price with a good return on investment type strategy,
right.
and just maintain that and keep listing. If things fall out of favor and it's not selling like it used to, then I have to adjust. And I monitor that in my brain all the time. Like, you know
In
what I mean?
your brain, where you said your memory's bad just like 10 minutes ago.
Well, it obviously isn't bad. I'm just kidding. But
I just,
dude,
I just, I just, I just bugging you. I just bugging
no,
you.
no, no, that's fine. Because honestly, um, uh, dude, I don't know. To do quick calculations in my brain, I think has always been okay. Like I can quickly just go through it. But so when I'm out there pounding the pavement and I'm buying my items, that's where I'm making my money. That's where I need to focus on getting the stuff at a good price and getting good stuff. If I stray away from that, I think that's your key. It's like
Well, I'm not
it's like
saying. I'm not
it's like a
saying.
hockey team needs a good goalie. I think a football team needs a good quarterback. I think a reseller needs a good buying strategy. And like you could be a great reseller and
Well, I'm
list
not
and be
debating
strong,
that. Right.
but if you can't find inventory at a good price, I think you're gonna find a struggle.
And I'm saying, if you don't list stuff, you're going to have a bigger struggle.
Well, who's not listing? That's not even part of the what does that mean?
Well, I'm saying, to sell stuff, you have to have it listed, right? And
Okay,
I'm
but
when I'm
you're
trying.
digressing from what you were saying though. You were saying your store your store value has to be maintained. That's
Well,
what
I'm
you
saying
said.
your store
You're
value.
now you've kind of you pivoted. Don't pivot. You got to stay back to what you were saying.
Uh huh.
Toy soldiers, but no, but you did pivot. You did pivot. You're talking about
Okay,
store
okay,
value.
okay.
You
Whoa,
have
whoa,
to
whoa, whoa.
maintain
It's
that.
okay, Scott. It's okay. Calm down, Scott. Calm down.
Well, there's no exciting. You're the one getting all defensive here. I'm just saying why you pivoting? Why you pivoting?
Okay, 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 okay.
Why did you pivot? That's a question.
I don't know. I
Don't
think you
digress
pivoted. I
away
don't think
from
I
it.
pivoted.
Give
You
me the
pivoted.
answer.
You
Why
started
did
talking
you?
about sourcing. I was talking about listing. I like how.
Well, I'm saying what's important to me. What you're saying is important to you is to make sure that your store has that same value into it. That's what you said.
I'm saying. I don't
What
even
is
remember
what
what
you
I was
said.
saying. Oh my god. I'm just saying, knowing how much inventory you have listed reflects in sales, and knowing that number over time can help you explain why you're doing better or worse. And I'm saying my store value over time has gone down. I'm still buying crap. I'm still trying to buy as best stuff I can. I'm just saying my sales are down because the total value of inventory I have online is down, and you can't sell what you don't have. Dun dun dun. There, done. That's it.
Well, I don't
Thank
know.
you doing it wrong. I don't
You
even know what
can't.
you said to get us on this topic, but
Yeah, but
thanks
I
a
just
lot.
don't understand how that equates. I
Okay,
don't.
that's fine.
Like
That's fine.
are you saying the number of items in the store or the
No
value of the
value, the
items in
total
there?
value of all the items. Now,
Well, I think it's also based on what you're selling too. Like,
oh yeah, I agree with that.
right? So I think
One can be right and the other one right at the same time. Okay, let's go on before I
What is
get bored.
this? You ever see the movie Step Brothers?
I think we're a little snarky today.
I'm
I,
not starting at all.
I
I'm just asking a question. I have you ever watched Step Brothers? And at the end, they've got those Chewbacca masks.
I've never seen it. I've never
No,
seen
and
it.
he's like, I don't care that his is better quality than mine. I don't care. But you know he's saying it because he does care, right? But
Yeah,
he's
of course.
just trying to be nice. That's you, Carl. We can both be right.
Wow.
We can both
Toy
be right.
soldiers.
Exactly. All right. Your turn now?
I think it's you.
Oh, it's me.
Oh no, no, no! I'm a liar. You said Julie's. It was Julie's fault. I was blaming doing it wrong. It was Julie's fault all along because she
Inventory
mentioned inventory
spreadsheet.
spreadsheet. Yeah, there we go. Okay, I'll do the next one.
All
Doing
right.
it wrong. For those high end watches you're talking about, eBay caps their final value fees at $350 if you have a store. This is specific to watches that sell for over $2,000. I can't even remember what we were talking about for the watches.
Well, that's I was saying that if you're selling a $10,000 or $15,000 Rolex or Omega watch,
Yeah.
like eBay could be taking a big chunk of that out of commissions.
Oh, right. He's saying there's a cap. Okay. Well, I don't. I would love to run into that problem.
Well, but that makes a huge difference. Then I didn't know there
Oh
was
yeah.
a cap. So $350 if you have a store is the max. Would final value fees, I guess, would be encompass everything, right? Promoted listing,
Oh, I don't know. But I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I
right?
don't.
Because like if you do outside promoted listings, it really has no like. I think Google would set the amount there, like or whoever you're promoting it through.
Like I said, I wish I had this problem that I had to know this.
Yeah. Well, that's interesting comment though. Like if
Oh,
that is encompassing everything, that's pretty good. But I didn't know that, so that's interesting. Okay. All right. Thrift on Fire. Our buddy Jamie has a YouTube channel, Thrift on Fire. If you go check him out, Jamie's been on here a couple times when Carl was playing hooky. Couldn't
mm-hmm.
make it.
Thank you, Jamie.
All right. Thrift on Fire here with a comment. I agree. Carl, hang on. I got to explain. I agree, Carl. September boost sales took a major step back. October is looking much better already. Yeah, no, I agree too. September was slower. It was a little bit behind my monthly expectation. It wasn't a total failure by any means, but it was definitely the worst month of the year because every other month had went over expectations. So,
Mm.
but yeah, October it just is it's a cycle, right? Things happen like that. So, but Jamie has an antique booth at the court. It's called Cortland Antiques because they used to be in Cortland. They're now in Delhi, which is
Well, that's not
some local.
confusing at all.
What's that?
That's not confusing at all.
Well, I know, but probably the whole business and everything was all under that name,
Oh
Cortland
no.
Antiques. But Cortland is like 10 minutes outside of Delhi, so
Okay, it's not that bad. It's
it's
just
not
funny.
that bad. But Jamie's there and he's been working hard and he's been seeing good results. And I don't know if he's expanded. He hasn't mentioned it, but he was maybe going to expand a little bit too. So be interesting. But anyway, check out Jamie Thrift on Fire.
Yeah, when I listened to Jamie talking about the booth and the other guy he does the podcast with, is it Dan? Sorry, I can't
I think
remember.
it's John.
John. And it's interesting them talking about the booths because the same experiences that I've been having of trying to figure out what sells in there, what goes, and maybe a little disappointed with like the dreams of the huge sales and then back down to reality. It's been interesting. I think John actually shut down his booth because he had something. It sounded like something similar that I have. But you could be there physically for his, and he found it just wasn't really worth the time and energy to do it. So, but anyways, it's been interesting listening to them, and like we're all at the same stages of like the beginning of the booth and trying to figure it out.
And you know what? I've been doing it I'm into my 10th year now. So
10th year, wow.
yeah, like, so I'm doing it my ninth and like my ninth birthday for this kind of stuff was in June. So now I'm moving beyond 9 years. So I'm in my 10th year. But um, what was I going to say? So there is a learning curve there, and you really have to. I honestly, I I I would I would recommend anybody to volunteer a couple of days into the store. Yours is a little bit different, Carl, because you're already there anyway. But if you're doing an antique booth, try to volunteer a few days, especially on the weekend, because it's the busiest day, and you're gonna see what people are buying. You're gonna grasp that, and you're gonna see different setups, and it just takes a little bit of time to kind of figure it out. You know what I mean? Some of the nicest, like I know there's a couple people in the store. They have their booth is set up well, but the product doesn't pertain to that client. So someone who um it, I don't want to speak on her behalf, but I'm sure it's no secret. But she's leaving. She had a small booth. She does very well on Etsy, but she didn't do well at the booth, and she couldn't figure out why. And so I guess she just got tired of it. She's going just back to Etsy full time and not having it, like, not doing a booth. But I would say to give it a little bit of time and try to feel it out. Like, you guys talked about cookie jars last night. I remember what,
Rick.
Rick mentioned about they had cookie jars, and they still have a bunch of them. Well,
Yeah.
cookie jars don't do great in my store either, right? So they have to be something pretty special, like maybe a Darth Vader or something kind of more pulp culture. They're not buying it because it's a cookie jar. They're buying it for a different reason, right? But
Yeah,
cookie
I'm
jars don't
figuring
really do that well.
that's a good
Um,
example of, like, I've been trying to figure out bookends haven't been selling for me at all. And I thought, oh, bookends will do okay, but they're just sitting there rotting. So
so bookends for me are are good, but they're not super fast sellers, but they're small. They take up no space. You can utilize them to hold books up,
yeah, I sold manga that way actually.
and but if they're like old and they have like a Scotty dog, or they're alabaster
I
with,
do have Scotty Dog ones actually.
yeah,
Yeah.
and
I thought
they're
they would like go off. I thought I would sell those the first week. Anyway, sorry, you just set me off. I thought they would sell right away, and they're still there. It's like, oh, they're so cute. But
yeah, and they're, but what do you got priced them at?
$35, I think.
Yeah, okay. So
They're metal.
25 to $30 is probably a good price in there. I'll pick them up for $5 or less. If you
Yeah.
put them online, I think they go a little bit higher, but I don't think they're going over $40 online,
No.
unless they're like an old, um like maybe a Bradley and Hubbard or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, kind of digressing here, but um so I'll pick up bookends. I won't pick up modern resin ones, like, unless they're like something really cool, but you're only going to get $15 for them, right? Maybe $12.95, that thing. But anyway, I'm kind of digressing from my point here. Was just kind of have to figure out what sells, right? The cookie jars are a tough sell, and I think you have to have an eclectic amount. And I think small booths, although cheaper, do worse than a big booth, right? Because and I've said this before. You could, I don't know, you spend $100 for a small booth, which is probably like, I don't know, 4 feet by 10 feet, because it's in the side of the wall. You spend $100, or you can do what I get, which is a huge booth. You could fit 20 of those booths in my booth, and, well, 15 anyway, and I'm paying 3 times as much, but for 10 times the space. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think the other thing is too, that I think if you sell online, you're putting your best stuff online. So of course, good stuff sells. You're going to do better online, right? If you took that same kind of stuff, maybe not the same prices, but you don't do the shipping and everything. So you kind of like take about 15% off what you would put online, but you're going to lose that online anyway and other things. But anyway, shipping and all the handling and photos and all that kind of stuff, you just put it in the booth. It's going to do well.
Yeah, it's figuring out what to do, what is going to do well. Like, every time we talk about, like, I'll once in a while offline, I'll ask you about like how well do like snowshoes do and stuff like that. It's filling all that stuff out has been kind of interesting, and what the right price is, and like, the advice on like, because there's what, like, I think Jamie talked about this too. It's like what you think people want
Is
isn't
not what
necessarily is not what they want,
it's
and
not what they want. 100%.
and that's a hard thing to feel out, because it's like, okay, well, this didn't sell. Well, did it not sell because the traffic didn't come through? Did it not sell because I put the wrong things in? Do I have the wrong prices? The wrong crowd? Like, there's all these factors, and it's kind of like it's like you're working in darkness because you don't really know which of those factors are, right? Unless you hear someone say, "Oh, that's overpriced," or like, "There's a bunch of junk," or like, "I already have 1,000, snowshoes." It can be really hard to figure that out, because when you're selling on eBay, it's a lot more obvious. Like, you can see like how many are listed versus how many are sold to see how much demand there is. You can see, oh, someone paid $100 for these snowshoes, because you can see solds. You don't get that in a booth. You don't know what things actually sold for in the past, and that makes it a little more difficult, especially when you're coming from an eBay side where you have a lot more information.
Well, and you got to remember, it's called an antique store. So you can't be selling like 2-year-old blenders. You know what I mean?
No, no,
Like, you can't do parts and repair. You can like,
no.
so you got to figure out what your competition is in the store, and you got to understand old. Not everything old is worth a lot of money. That's for
There's that
garbage,
too. Yeah, yeah.
right? And the market changes. Like oil lamps used to do really good, but now they're a dime a dozen. Like you can
Oh man,
see,
I have one next to me.
well, you'll get $15. Some people will charge $30 and they'll get that every once in a while. I move them quick. I put $15 on mine, but I'm picking them up for, I don't know, 4 for $10 or something like that. You know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Um, or I don't get them, right? Like I pass by a lot too because I just want too much money. But
That's what I was gonna say. I find people like they go into that's old. That must be worth a lot of money, and they want way too much. But that's a separate subject. But
then there's oil lamps that can bring in huge dollars,
mm-hmm.
right? Because so you have to know your oil lamps, right? You have to know, if you go online, you're going to see some in there that are crazy high prices that shock you. See, that's kind of more modern, right, Carl?
Oh, is it modern?
Hold it up again. Let me just see.
It's like for it has a
Okay,
ruby base.
so hold it up.
It's heavy.
No, I need to see the bottom. Okay, so if you turn that now, watch the globe. Like watch the, yeah. So turn it upside down. Is there a B and H on there on the bottom?
Oh, there's something. There's a number 047, but there's no B and H. No.
Okay, so you're gonna do okay because that's a nice red glass, but you might get $30 for it. I don't think you're gonna get much more than that. It's kind of more modern. It's
Oh, okay.
I think that's probably more 50s and 60s than it is 1800s,
Anywho,
right? So, um,
and it's back to the point, like, where with Jamie and that, it's like I'm finding the same thing that he's finding. It's like what sells and what doesn't sell. Like he said, I think he said he bought a bunch of like concert T-shirts that he thought would just fly off the shelves. I
yeah,
think that's what you're talking about.
but you
And
have to know your clientele and where those people are coming from, what they're buying, right? So, in some places, maybe concert shirts do well. I think concert shirts are better online at whatever price you're asking. But if you want to get 20, $25, I think you could do well out of the booth with them. But I don't think you're going to get $60 to $100 for them,
yeah, that's a good point.
right?
So
So, um, So there's just different ways to look at it as well. So out of the antique booth where I'm at, I put a tag on it, put it in the booth, and I walk and I go home.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm paying a little bit of a premium because I don't have to be there. Right. So it's all perspective and how you want to look at it. But I think it's a combination. Like I will always stick up for the antique booth, but maybe the location I'm at, if I was at another location, I might say, this is crap. I don't know. But
You never know, right? Like,
right.
yeah,
But where I am, I'm very happy with it. I've had nothing but success. Like I am truly happy with it, even through the COVID days. I'm still happy going with them through doing it through that period. And I also have eBay on this. I mean, eBay's probably going to be number one at the end of the day, but I think for me, I need both, and I'm going to tweak it a little bit by doing the big show too, right? So
oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah,
yeah. So anyway, I know we digressed a little bit, but it's not an easy black and white response as to what makes a booth do well.
yeah,
And
it's
there is a
not.
learning curve 100%.
Yeah,
All right. And Jamie knows that. Jamie's figuring that out and he's doing
yeah,
I think he's doing great,
yeah,
right? Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
if you're willing to pivot, you're willing to change, you're willing to investigate what's selling, you're going to do well. If you just want to put a couple things in the booth and it doesn't sell and you say, "Oh, it sucks," then you're not going to do well. But he's given it a good solid effort and changing. He'll send me messages sometimes like a fire extinguisher and stuff like that. Those things look so cool. Those things look like they should be $1 million. Like
I know.
they're fireman type related. They got a nice old copper look, but they just don't sell. It's hard to move. It's hard to move, right? They sit around for a while. You might get 40 to 60 bucks for it. But if you scrap it, you're probably going to get 40 bucks just for the copper in it.
Yeah.
So anyway, go ahead, Carl.
Oh, is it
Toy soldiers.
Toy Soldiers? Okay, acetone. Doing it wrong. Acetone will almost guaranteed take paint off. That's literally what it's for. If you're afraid of paint touch ups, don't do it. So he's talking about the Toy Soldiers.
Well, I took your
In the
advice
head.
and I did do it. And all the next day, I woke up and 10 of my really high end expensive ones had no paint on them.
Oh my god.
No,
You're
I'm just kidding.
kidding. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. All right.
Just do another doing it wrong. Thanks for the IG name drop for Julie. I didn't know she had a thing there. Followed. Yeah.
Yep.
IG. Yes. I should get into that someday.
Instagram. Yep.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
All right. Here is Randy, Nova Scotia Celt. Hey, Scott and Carl. Having a system to process items immediately after purchasing them sounds great, but if it doesn't always happen in real life, well, in my life, it doesn't, that's for sure. If I buy a large lot of similar things, then I get right on it. I had 250 plus D&D books. Carl,
Right up my alley. Yeah.
you're
And
jealous of that one.
I am jealous of that.
And figures that took 10 days to list, but that was fun. Opening totes of random things is not that inspiring. Glass is not my thing. Yeah, glass isn't. I hate to say glass is bad because I don't think it's bad. I just don't know enough about it. Like, I'm sure there's some great glass out there, but I just don't know enough. So,
It's just a slow thing. Like
and
I'm
it's not,
actually, I pulled some off my eBay store. I'm going to give it one last
yeah.
hurrah at the booth, and then if it doesn't sell in a month, it's going to be smashy.
But I see some glass go in auctions and it goes for crazy money. But I don't know a thing. I don't know what they're doing. Like I don't know why they're doing it. Why they're bidding. Like what makes it so special? You know what I mean? But when I had a physical location, it would slowly sell. But when that disappeared, the glass was put in 3 large totes. Then the totes were in the way. Ended up in the yard sale 3 years ago. And for a couple of bucks, I think the
No, he
glass.
said he ended up in the. He put them outside. He didn't say yard sale. They
Oh, it ended up in the yard 3 years ago. Oh, maybe he put them out for people just to grab at the end of the curb. Like,
keep
is
reading
that
the comment.
Oh, well, I was going to make a comment.
Okay.
Then the toasts were in the way. Ended up okay. Plastic lids break down. I'm afraid to look in them. Oh, I see. I have 10 acres. Maybe
So
I should. Well, if they're glass, they're probably still good. They could have broke though. They could have like from the cold and the heat and all that kind of stuff.
I should just dig a hole. I understand that aspect of it. Sometimes I feel like that with these typewriters. I should dig a hole.
Wow. Your podcast makes Friday so much better. Thanks, Randy.
Oh, thanks, Randy.
Well, your comments make it so much better, Randy. Thanks so
Yeah.
much. Um, I enjoy comments. I enjoy the comments. Or is that all, or is there doing it wrong? Or
Doing
that
it wrong. Carl, I see this is something you get stuck on. The price of an item is determined by the value a buyer is willing to pay and has access to. Your audience in a booth usually isn't willing to pay as much as you can get on eBay. I know it sucks, but you'll have made good profit. Will it be top dollar? No, but you don't have to squeeze every single penny out of a sale. Oh man, it's like it runs against everything I am. You're like that dog that won't hand over the ball so you can throw it again. Yeah, you got me pegged. That is completely true. I find it so hard to give up profit. It's like I could get another $20 online. I was like, I don't. Oh, it was funny. So my friend gave me a little, not a cabinet, but a little glass display case, right? With all it's only like maybe 1 foot high or something, or even less, and it has all these little shelves on it, perfect for Smurfs. Okay, so I got all these really cheap Smurfs a while ago, all almost in perfect condition. And with Smurfs, uh, condition means a lot. People like it really good. So, anyways, I took all the good ones and I put it in this display cabinet, and it actually looked really good, surprisingly. And I had, what did I have on them? Originally, I was going to put $8 a Smurf, right? But then I put $7 a Smurf, and then it's like, oh, I've already gone down, man. And then someone comes along, it's like, well, if I take three, I'll give you $15.
Yeah.
I ummed and awed. $5. I want my $7.
Oh my god, he's buying three.
I know, and I have thousands and thousands of Smurfs.
Oh my gosh.
But I can't let go of the profit. It's a problem, Scott. I need
It
help.
is a problem. It is.
So, like I'm beginning to understand a bit more a sale is a sale. Don't let them get away. Just who cares if you're not getting top value? So what, you wanted 35 and you're getting 20. Just let it go. Let it
Well,
go.
he does have Elsa
He has Elsa there.
at the
And
end. Yeah.
yes, doing it wrong is correct. I have to, it's like negotiating. I have to get used to not getting top dollar for stuff. I have to get used to the fact I could have got more online. I have to get used to the fact that it's clearing space for something new.
But it's still giving you a profit of more money that you can go out and buy more
Yeah,
stuff,
I know. I
right?
know.
So
I know.
there's
I'm just saying it's not a natural thing for me, and I have to get over it. Like there's a point where it's like I won't go any, like for my DVDs, I won't go cheaper than $2. Oh, but you know what I did do with the booth this last weekend is I purged a lot of my crap, because it's like so the CDs I had, they were crap. They were mostly like country music no one wants, uh Beethoven, like all that crap. I just said, this is dumb. This has been here for 2 months now. I've sold 2 CDs for $2, and it's taking up a lot of room. So I purged all that. I purged a lot of my not dollar store crap, but almost dollar store stuff, and just got rid of a lot of it because I want to put better stuff in there. Because the concept of like the square footage that stuff takes is really important in physical retail locations.
yes.
And I got to the point where I can't bring stuff in because there's too much crap there. That's when I've been pretty merciless now at purging stuff. And the only thing I'm trying to figure out now is the dropping of prices, because I can't figure out, like, is this not selling because the right person hasn't come along, or because my prices are wrong? So I was still trying to figure out that. But yes, anyways, back to the doing it wrong. Yes, you are right. it's hard for me. I'm trying to get a little better at that. But I'm trying to look, because I remember people talked about before. It's like when you get an offer, it's better to take the offer than let the person run away, unless it's real like low ball or something. Of course,
Well,
right?
I'm gonna say it's probably because the right person hasn't come along yet. Because I only saw one person in the store.
Yeah,
You
that
gotta
was
have people come through
I
the
know.
door first. So
It was really bad. It was so bad. It's
yeah, so you
thank
gotta
God I'm not bored. Like, oh my God, it would be a long day. But
yeah, so you gotta have people come through the store, which will happen. I don't know. I don't know what to say.
no, there's nothing to say. It's just
It just you need people to come through too, right? Like that's an important part of selling is
it's a
people to
popular
see.
location. It's not like people like they've been around forever, forever, forever. Like it's a
Yeah,
20-year-old, 30-year-old flea market. People know about it and people go. It's just this last weekend, yeah, it was completely ghost town. So
yeah. I'm just gonna say give it time. Like I think
yeah.
it. I think it. I think it'll do well from what I'm hearing anyway. Like, but I mean, you could have a booth full of turquoise hippopotamuses.
Oh man, that'd be great.
75, 75.
75, yeah, $75. I could have got 100 for that online though.
But no, I think thank you everyone for the comments.
Yeah.
Um, always love reading the comments. Big part of the show. I think that's gonna do it, Carl.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything to add. Uh yeah, list, sell, all that stuff, all that stuff.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to see what happens though with the economy. I know a lot of people talk down about it and stuff like that, but um, I try to keep positive on it. I remember some of the old timers that have been doing reselling for before eBay even started. They've been doing antiques, collectibles, from bottles to toys, all sorts of stuff, right? So pretty much all of them said that when you have recessions and stuff like that, like sometimes that's the best time. Like they made more money then than in the good times.
Mm.
Um, so we'll see. I know everybody says, "Oh, this could be different" and all this other kind of stuff, but I think they've been saying that for years, right? So you can't really. I think you just have to just kind of play it as it comes at you. See what goes on. So
We had no control over it, so might as well
you
just
have
go
no
with the flow.
control. Yeah, just like you have no control out of how much value your booth holds, you have control over how much you buy things for and how much you go out there and buy things, pound the pavement.
Wisest things have never been said, Scott.
So we need not to go further into this show. It's right today. It's until next week because the wisest thing has been said. No, I just honestly, I think we're gonna have a good fourth quarter. I think it's just between now and the end of January is gonna be good.
The thing I would like to add, like if anyone has any topics they want us to talk about, I know the comments are kind of doing that anyways, but
Yeah.
it's helpful. If you ever want us to talk about, like maybe it's time. Well, the problem is no one does their homework, so maybe I shouldn't even say anything.
Well, I do mine. You don't do yours.
Oh yeah, exactly. I do like it sometimes once in a blue moon if we talk about like a category. Uh, that kind of helps. Like even like just talking about like the bookends we just talked about,
Yeah.
or books, or like even if we talked about lamps or something like that, we should think about that. Like I don't know if people would find that useful or not. Like not the normal bolos, like the bolos like buy pixel chicks because they're worth $50. Like not that kind of bolo, but kind of more like categories. Like I find
Well,
it.
I was reading a really good topic that we can talk about next week. It was a news article where someone was selling paintings with ivory backgrounds and they got busted by the border patrol.
Oh
But
yeah, there you remembered what you wanted to talk about for last week. I forgot about that. I like it was funny listening to that one.
it was.
You do you, Scott. You do you.
Yeah. What are you in here
I can see
for?
you on a little motorboat like they used to do with the cigarettes, like just zooming across St. Lawrence as fast as they can to the other side. Or I guess for you, it's is it what is the lake there? Is it Erie?
Lake Erie.
Superior? Lake
Lake
Erie.
Erie. Yeah.
So it's like
The I remember a story about a guy bought a $10,000 lure in the box. It was an old lure in its box, and I bought it for $10,000. He put it in his official tacking box. In the trunk of his car, he just put it in the tackle box.
Oh my god! It just went
Right?
across.
Yeah,
Yeah.
why not? Like,
What are you going to do? Yeah.
it's a lure. It's just a fishing lure.
I'm sure he paid CBSA what they were supposed to be paid. I'm sure there was no problem.
I'm just saying. It's a fishing lure, damn it. What are you talking about?
Right,
It's a
exactly.
painting.
These portrait miniatures, I just happen to have them in my car. I forgot I had them in here.
No, what? Just say it's a painting. It's a painting.
It's a painting. Yeah. Exactly.
How am I supposed to know what the painting is? I think it's a cute little painting. Picked up a yard sale for
sure,
$2.
I paid $1,000 for this thing, but yeah,
$2.
$2. Actually, when I did buy some at an auction, and both the auction, like it was like, I don't know how the auctioneer didn't know it, but the owners too was like, "How come you paid so much for these things?" They had no idea that these portrait, because me and another person bid it up, and we paid a lot. I think I paid over $450 for these, which is a lot for Max sold, eh? It's just like, these were in our bathroom. It's like, well, you had 19th century paintings in your bathroom. What can I say?
If you were to go through customs with that in your car, would you be like nervous and sweaty?
I'm honest. I can't. Oh, I did break my rule though. I was dishonest this last week on Tuesday. The woman's like, okay, let me just put in the senior discount for you at Value Village. I said, screw you. But I didn't say anything, so I got the 30%. I've never done that before. I feel a little guilty, and I'm confessing it right here on the show. I didn't say anything. I didn't ask for it. She just started plugging it in. Didn't even hurt her that I might not be 60. I'm 52. Dude, damn it!
Listen. So I had the same type of thing, and I mentioned this on the show before. And this is when I bought those toy soldiers. But they were the ones from Value Village in the bag, and then I think it come out to $30, and I sold them all for $300.
Yeah, I remember this. Yeah.
So the guy, I asked the guy if I could get a discount, and he goes, "Well, if you're over 60, it is senior day." And I said, "Buddy, I'll be whatever age it needs to be. I need to be." And he goes, "Are you 60?" And I said, "Yes."
Oh man.
Dude, nobody cares.
I know.
You care too much.
I had the other thrifters making fun of me for it too, because it's like, Carl, you're too honest.
Yeah,
I know. Think of the poor corporate overlords. They need their money.
Oh my god, I'm talking about
the shareholders.
Paintings. I'm talking about paintings, little miniature paintings. $2 at a yard sale, buddy. Oh, do you know this is ivory? You're kidding me. What is ivory? You mean like bone? An elephant thing?
Just bone.
An elephant thing?
Yeah.
It's painting.
Anywho. Yes, so my morals have been slightly grayed out this last week.
I'll tell you, if I was in jail for bringing over miniature paintings, and I was in prison, and Bubba said, "What are you in here for?" I am not going to say miniature paintings. I smuggled a miniature painting.
Oh man!
I'm going to say I clubbed the guy over the head.
Okay.
And he was huge. He was a big guy. I sucker punched him one time. He was knocked out cold, and I stole his miniature. And I got
what do they say? We're off in the cornfields and taking a left or whatever.
I don't know, dude, but I'm just saying, miniature painting.
Okay. Hey, well, thank you everyone for listening.
All right. Yes, thanks everybody for listening. And we're here. We're on Spotify and YouTube. We're here every Friday. And you can leave them a comment in either place. Hit the subscriber button. And have a good week.
Bye,
and Carl, you have a good week too.
Yeah, you too. Thanks, everyone. Bye.